But first, a shocking new report from Edge Analytics has claimed as many as 1 in 12 people living in London are there illegally. Researchers used academic estimates about the number of illegal migrants crossing the Channel into Britain, as well as the number of national insurance registrations for non-EU foreign nationals over 9 years to reach these figures. Joining me now to discuss this and more, News Corp's UK correspondent, Sophie Elsworth. Well, Sophie, this is an extraordinary claim. How accurate do you think it is?
Well, Peter, it is extraordinary. The claim is that there's 600,000 illegal immigrants in London and 1 million in the UK. This is incredibly alarming, but it is difficult to know how accurate it is because the Home Office, quite surprisingly, doesn't publish estimations on how many illegal immigrants there are in the UK. But I can assure you, Peter, in the UK, one of the hot topics, and it seems to be in the media day in, day out. In fact, I would argue it's probably the hottest issue in the UK, always comes back to migration. This is a massive concern for the country because of the pressures it's putting on things such as schools, the NHS, roads, the impacts of all these illegal immigrants in the country. This is one of the issues that very many Brits are very concerned about.
And I suspect when I dig into material that I'm reading out of the UK, and I watch a fair bit of UK TV, this has got to be contributing to the rise of Nigel Reform's UK party, the Nigel Farage's Reform Party. I'm sure you're following my train of thought there, because it's not just a slight uptick. I mean, he has had a consistent climb. There's a recent YouGov poll that's got the party well ahead of the Conservatives, only 1 point behind Labor. This is a first-term Labor government. I mean, they're doing a bad job, but nonetheless, they got in on a massive landslide vote. So how real do you think, Farage's lift is?
It's very real, Peter, because you have a government that, as you said, has not been in very long. They're hugely unpopular. They never really had the honeymoon period the governments hope to have when they come into office, particularly after the Conservatives were in power for 14 years. You also have an unpopular opposition and many people critical of Kemi Badenoch. So people are looking for other alternatives. And Nigel Farage, he's the one who's making the headlines here. The thing that may work against him is his close ties to Elon Musk. There is concern in Britain that Elon Musk is getting too involved in politics in the UK. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not this plays out against Nigel Farage, because obviously they've had that relationship where Musk said he would back Reform UK. Then he came out and said Nigel Farage should basically go, he should stand down. So it's a pretty rocky relationship there. But Reform had a huge amount of votes, had 14% of the votes at the last general election, and they're on the way up.
Right, let's go quickly to the attempts in the Commons to redefine and introduce a legal definition of Islamophobia. Here at home, the federal government's Islamophobia or special envoy, I think it is, to the Islamic community, has warned that Australians must not ignore Islamophobia. He says because we, quote, haven't seen mosques torched or cars vandalised. He's even accused the coalition of downplaying Islamophobia. Now, I have to say, under the government here, there's been no action against hate preachers. There's been no visas cancelled for anyone out here preaching hate in mosques that I've seen. What's your update on this definition? Because I suspect if it passes the Parliament in the United Kingdom, it'll start a legitimate debate down here with Labor.
We often follow the UK, don't we, Peter? So absolutely. We don't know yet if that will happen, but the opposition leader, Kemi Badenoch, has raised concerns that this could shut down free speech, particularly with the grooming gang scandal, where a lot of the people involved in this, a lot of the culprits, were British Pakistanis, and they're concerned it will cut down free speech. People will be too scared to speak out and label people for whichever groups they belong to. And then they will be targeted consequently for labelling these groups. So this is a very serious issue and one that we will watch very closely here.
All right, thank you, Sophie. Thanks for your time.